It was a regular Friday evening when my phone buzzed. Sarah's name lit up the screen, and I noticed that special tone in her voice before she even spoke. You know the one. Too cheerful, too bright. The kind that means she wants something. This was the fourth weekend in a row, and I should have seen the pattern forming. I should have known what was coming. But this time, she added two words that would change everything. Step up. Before I tell you how I ended up choosing myself over someone else's chaos, drop a comment and let me know where you are watching from. Hit that like button if you have ever felt taken for granted in a relationship. And subscribe, because trust me, you will want to hear how this unfolds. Sarah and I had been together for 2.5 years, the kind of relationship where you start using words like future, and maybe, and next year. We met at a coffee shop where she accidentally grabbed my latte, and instead of the awkward exchange, you would expect we ended up talking for 2 hours. She was a third-grade teacher with the kind of patience I could only dream of having. I worked as a software engineer from home, which meant my schedule was flexible, but also meant I never really left my apartment during the week. Our relationship had its rhythm. Wednesday nights we cooked together, trying new recipes and usually setting off the smoke alarm at least once a month. We hiked on Sunday mornings when the trails were empty and the air still had that crisp quality. We watched terrible horror movies and argued about which ones were so bad they were good. Her family seemed great. Her parents loved me, or at least they made me feel that way. Thanksgiving dinners were warm. Christmas was full of inside jokes I was slowly becoming part of. We had even started talking about moving in together once my lease was up. Then there was Jennifer, Jen for short, Sarah's older sister by 3 years. She had gone through a rough divorce about a year before I came into the picture, and honestly, I felt for her. Divorce is brutal. She had 2 kids, Aiden, who was 7, and Chloe, who was 5. I met them for the first time at a family barbecue back in March. It was one of those perfect spring days where everything should have gone smoothly. Aiden spent most of the afternoon screaming, not crying, screaming, the kind that makes your teeth hurt. He threw hot dogs across the yard because he decided he wanted hamburgers instead. When someone gave him a hamburger, he threw that too because it had cheese, and he changed his mind about wanting cheese. Chloe was attached to Jen's leg, sobbing about wanting to go home, then sobbing about wanting to stay, then sobbing because her shoe felt weird. She knocked over a tower of blocks another kid had built, and when that child got upset, Chloe hit him. Jen did not intervene once. She sat in her lawn chair with a glass of wine, occasionally glancing up and saying things like, "They are just expressing themselves," or "kids will be kids." Sarah jumped to her defense when I carefully brought it up on the drive home. She is going through a tough time. They need our support. The kids are adjusting. It is hard being a single mom. All valid points, all things I understood. So I pushed my discomfort down and figured it was just one day. 2 weeks after that barbecue, Sarah called me on a Thursday afternoon. She sounded stressed. Jen had a job interview the next Saturday afternoon, a big one, the kind that could change things for her. Sarah had to attend her best friend's wedding 2 hours outside the city. She could not skip it, and she felt terrible asking, but could I possibly watch Aiden and Chloe for just 3 hours, just this once? It would mean so much. Jen really needed this. I wanted to help. 3 hours seemed manageable. I said yes. Jen dropped them off at 1 in the afternoon on Saturday. She looked put together, professional, determined. She said she would be back by 4. I believed her. The first 5 minutes were fine. Then Aiden discovered the orange juice in my fridge and decided to pour himself a glass. He missed the glass entirely. The juice went across my counter, down the cabinet, and soaked into my couch cushion. When I rushed to clean it, Chloe found my cat, Max. She chased him through the apartment, shrieking at a pitch that could shatter glass. Aiden discovered my work laptop on the coffee table. He wanted to play games. I explained it was for work, not for games, and that I had an iPad he could use instead. He did not like that answer. He threw the TV remote across the room. It hit the wall, and the battery cover cracked off. Then he kicked the wall and left a scuff mark. Chloe heard him getting attention through bad behavior and decided she wanted candy. When I said no, she dropped to the floor and wailed like I had personally wronged her entire existence. I gave them the iPad, hoping it would buy me peace. They fought over it immediately. The volume was maxed out. Some cartoon with annoying songs played on repeat. They argued about what to watch, snatching the device back and forth until I thought it might break too. 3 hours felt like 30. At 4 o'clock, Jen had not returned. I texted her. No response. At 4:30, still nothing. By 5, I was furious and exhausted. She finally showed up at 5:15, breezing in like nothing was wrong. "Oh, sorry, I grabbed coffee with an old friend after the interview. You know how it is." She scooped up the kids who suddenly transformed into perfect angels for her. "Thanks, you are a lifesaver." Then, she was gone. I stood in my wrecked apartment, orange juice still sticky on the floor, and felt something twist in my chest. That night, Sarah called to thank me. I tried to explain how hard it had been. She listened, but her response made my stomach drop. "I know they can be a handful, but Jen really needed this." "You did great, babe." I swallowed my frustration and told myself it was just one time. The following Thursday, Sarah asked again. Jen needed to do some grocery shopping on Saturday afternoon, and it would be so much easier without the kids. Could I watch them? Just for a few hours, I hesitated. Sarah noticed. "Come on, just this once more, I promise." Something about the way she said promise made me doubt it, but I agreed anyway. This time was worse. Aiden and Chloe fought from the moment they arrived. They wanted the same toy, a stuffed dinosaur that Chloe brought from home. Aiden grabbed it. Chloe screamed. Aiden would not let go. I tried to mediate. Aiden bit Chloe's hand. She bit him back. I pulled them apart, shocked that I was physically separating two children from mauling each other. Aiden turned his anger on me, getting right in my face and yelling that I was not his dad and he did not have to listen to me. He was 7 years old and already understood how to cut deep. Chloe found markers in my desk drawer. I was dealing with Aiden and did not notice until I heard the squeaking sound. She had drawn a massive purple flower on my living room wall, not small, 3 feet tall. She looked proud. I felt my blood pressure spike. When Jen finally arrived at 7 that evening, 3 hours late again. She was carrying shopping bags, lots of them. Clothes, shoes, decorations, nothing that looked like groceries. She glanced at the wall, shrugged, and said, "Kids are creative. You have to encourage that kind of thing." No offer to clean it, no offer to pay for repainting. Just a casual thanks and out the door. I told Sarah that night that this was becoming too much. She got quiet. Then she said something that made my chest tighten. "I thought you cared about my family." It was not a question. It was an accusation. I tried to explain that I did care, but that there had to be boundaries. She did not want to hear it. The conversation ended badly. I felt guilty. I felt like I was failing some test I did not know I was taking. The 3rd week, Sarah did not ask. She told me. "Jen has a hair appointment Saturday. She will drop the kids off at noon." I stared at my phone. A hair appointment. That was not an emergency. That was self-care, which was fine. But why was it my responsibility? I called Sarah. She sounded annoyed before I even finished my sentence. "Come on, she deserves some self-care. She's been so stressed. What about my self-care? What about my weekends?" I could hear her getting defensive. "I thought you cared about my family." There it was again. That phrase. The one designed to make me feel selfish for having boundaries. I agreed to watch them again because the guilt was overwhelming and I did not know how to say no without feeling like the bad guy. That Saturday, Aiden brought his tablet but forgot the charger. An hour in it, died. He lost his mind. He threw the tablet on the hardwood floor. The screen cracked in a spiderweb pattern. I stood there, stunned. Then he looked at me and said it was my fault for not having the right charger. My fault. For his mistake. Chloe discovered my kitchen. She wanted to cook like Mommy. I had to watch her like a hawk, terrified she would hurt herself. She tried to turn on the stove. She grabbed a pot from the drying rack and knocked over a container of boiling water I had just made for tea. It splashed across the counter, barely missing her. My heart stopped. This was dangerous. This was beyond what I could handle. I felt genuine fear that one of these kids was going to get seriously hurt on my watch and I would be blamed. Later, Aiden found my toolbox. He was fascinated by the screwdriver. Before I could stop him, he had jammed it into the ventilation slot of my laptop. I heard a crunch. A tiny screw fell inside, rattling around near the fan. The laptop would not turn on properly after that. I had to take it to a repair shop. $300. When Jen picked them up, I mentioned the tablet and the laptop. She waved it off. Oh no, accidents happen. Kids will be kids, right? No offer to pay for anything. I texted Sarah photos of the damage. Her response was quick and dismissive. I'm sure it was not that bad. They are just kids. The fourth week, Sarah did not even pretend to ask. She informed me. Jen is dropping them off at noon Saturday. I had plans. Actual plans. My friend Tom and I were supposed to have lunch, something we had rescheduled twice already because of this babysitting situation. I told Sarah I could not do it. She asked if I could reschedule with Tom. Can you reschedule? Jen already made plans. The message was clear. Jen's plans mattered. Mine did not. I canceled on Tom. Again. He was understanding, but I could hear the disappointment. By the fifth week, the routine was set. Every Saturday. Sometimes Friday nights too. I was not asked anymore. I was expected. Sarah mentioned one Thursday that Jen wanted to know if I could do Friday night as well because she had a date. A date! I exploded. Not at Sarah, but at the situation. A date, Sarah, I have been giving up every Saturday for a month. Now, Friday too. She did not see the problem. Do you have a problem with my sister trying to move on with her life? That was when I realized what was happening. This was not about helping someone in need. This was about me being convenient. Free childcare with no appreciation, no boundaries, and no end in sight. I have a problem with becoming a free babysitter every single weekend. The words came out harder than I intended. Sarah looked hurt. I cannot believe you are being so selfish. Family helps family. But I'm not family yet. And even if I were, this is too much. We fought for real that time. Voices raised, doors slammed. She did not talk to me for 2 days. That weekend, I still ended up watching Aiden and Chloe because Sarah guilted me into it through text messages. The kids sensed the tension. They acted worse than ever. Aiden used words that a 7-year-old should not know. When I told him those words were not okay, he smirked and said his mom told him I was just his aunt's boyfriend and he did not have to listen to me. That hit differently. Jen had been talking about me, probably complaining that I was not enthusiastic enough about my free labor. I told Sarah what Aiden said. She did not believe me. He is probably making it up. Kids say random things. She took her sister's side without question. I felt invisible. I felt like my feelings, my time, my boundaries did not matter at all. That night, lying in bed, I realized something had fundamentally broken. I was not respected in this relationship. I was useful. Thursday night of the 6th week, Sarah came over. She had that serious look, the one that meant a conversation was coming whether I wanted it or not. We sat on my couch, the same couch that still had a faint orange juice stain. She started carefully. Jen feels like you've been cold with the kids lately. Cold? I almost laughed. I've given up 6 weekends straight. My laptop got broken. I've canceled plans with friends multiple times. How is that cold? She did not like that response. That is exactly what I mean. You are making it about you. This is about family. I felt something inside me go very still. Sarah, we have been over this. They are not my kids. Jen is not my sister. Silence filled the space between us, heavy and uncomfortable. Then she said the words that would end everything. Here is the thing, Ivan. If we are going to have a future together, I need to know you are willing to step up. Jen needs support, and that means we both support her. So you need to decide, are you in or are you out? An ultimatum. After 2.5 years, after all the good times and the plans we made, it came down to this. Are you giving me an ultimatum? My voice sounded distant in my own ears. I am asking you to show up for my family. If you cannot do that, then maybe we want different things. The air left my lungs. You are saying I have to babysit every weekend or we are done. She did not blink. I am saying I need a partner who understands what family means. We sat in silence, 30 seconds that felt like an hour. I thought about the 2 years we spent together, the hikes, the cooking disasters, the way she laughed at my terrible jokes. But I also thought about the 6 weekends I lost, the lack of appreciation, the way I had become a tool rather than a partner. I thought about what my life would look like if I said yes to this ultimatum. More weekends gone, more boundaries crossed, more of me disappearing until I did not recognize myself anymore. Sarah, I love you, but I cannot do this. I cannot be a free on-call babysitter for kids who do not respect me, for a sister who does not appreciate me in a relationship where I am not valued. She looked shocked, like she genuinely had not considered I might say no. So that is it. You are choosing to be selfish. The word selfish stung, but I did not let it change my mind. I am choosing to respect myself. And honestly, you should ask yourself why you think it is okay to ask this of me. She stood up. Her face was red, whether from anger or hurt, I could not tell. Fine. If that is how you feel, then I guess we are done. The finality of it hung in the air. I guess we are. She grabbed her jacket and left. The door closed, not slammed, but closed with a decisive click that somehow felt worse. I sat alone in my apartment that night. The silence was overwhelming at first. No yelling kids, no guilt texts, no sense of impending obligation, just quiet. And underneath the sadness, underneath the grief of losing someone I loved, there was something else. Relief. For the first time in 6 weeks, I knew that my weekend belonged to me. My time was mine again. I could make plans without wondering if I would have to cancel. I could exist without feeling like I was constantly failing some impossible standard. The first week after the breakup was strange. No texts from Sarah, no calls. I focused on work, caught up on projects I'd been neglecting. I reached out to Tom, and we finally had that lunch. He did not say I told you so, but I could see it in his face. He had noticed me disappearing. The second Saturday, I went hiking with Tom and some friends from college I had not seen in months. The trail was beautiful. The air was clean. I felt lighter than I had in weeks. Late Friday night of the second week, my phone buzzed. Sarah's name appeared. Can we talk? I did not respond right away. Saturday morning, she called. Her voice sounded tired. Jen asked if you could take the kids tomorrow. She has something important. I almost could not believe what I was hearing. Sarah, we broke up. Why would I do that? I thought maybe for old time's sake. The audacity was stunning. No, Sarah, I'm not doing that anymore. She sounded frustrated. Fine. We will figure it out. Through a mutual friend, I heard what happened next. Sarah had been watching Aiden and Chloe every weekend, 3 weekends in a row. Jen could not find anyone else willing to do it for free. Babysitters cost money, and apparently Jen did not want to pay. Sarah was exhausted. She had canceled her own plans repeatedly. She was starting to understand exactly how much I'd been doing. Our mutual friend said she is realizing how much you were doing. The 4th week, something unexpected happened. Sarah's parents called me. Her mother's voice was kind. Ivan, we heard what happened. We are sorry things ended this way. They told me they had tried to talk to Sarah about the situation. They had seen what was happening, how Jen was taking advantage, how I was being used. We tried to tell Sarah, but she would not listen. You were good to her, and we are sorry she did not see that. I thanked them. It meant something that they reached out, but I knew there was no going back. The first month after the breakup was hard. I would see something funny and instinctively reach for my phone to text Sarah before remembering. But each weekend that passed, I felt more like myself. I started running in the mornings, something I used to do before the relationship consumed all my free time. I experimented with cooking again, making elaborate meals just for myself and not caring if they turned out perfect. The second month, I reconnected with friends I had been neglecting. Tom and I went to a concert, something I had bought tickets for months ago, but ended up missing because I was watching Aiden and Chloe. My college friends invited me to a game night. We stayed up until 2 in the morning playing board games and laughing about old memories. One of them said, "Man, we missed you. You just disappeared for months." I had not realized how much I had withdrawn from my own life. By the 3rd month, I joined a rock climbing gym. It was something I had always wanted to try but never had the time or energy for. I met people there, including a woman named Rachel, who was also rebuilding her life after a difficult relationship. We became friends, nothing romantic, just two people who understood what it felt like to lose yourself trying to make someone else happy. She told me her story over coffee one day, and I told her mine. It felt good to be understood. 6 months after the breakup, I ran into Sarah at a coffee shop, the same one where we met actually. She looked tired, older somehow, though it had only been half a year. We exchanged awkward pleasantries. She mentioned she was still helping with Jen's kids most weekends. I understand now, she said quietly. It was too much. I should not have asked that of you. I appreciated the apology. It showed growth. But I also knew that even with that understanding, we could not go back. Too much had changed. We shook hands and parted ways. Sitting here now almost a year later, I can say with certainty that I made the right choice. Loving someone does not mean erasing yourself. It does not mean accepting ultimatums or sacrificing your boundaries until you do not recognize your own life anymore. Healthy relationships require mutual respect, and respect means understanding that no is a complete sentence. I learned that family is important, but family should never be an excuse for exploitation. Helping someone should come with appreciation and boundaries, not demands and guilt. When someone treats your time and effort as an obligation rather than a gift, that is not love. That is convenience, and you deserve better than being someone's convenient solution. The right person will not give you ultimatums. They will not ask you to prove your love by sacrificing your self-respect. They will listen when you say something is too much. They will work with you to find solutions that honor both of your needs. They will see you as a partner, not a resource to be managed. Looking back, I do not regret choosing freedom, because the only person who truly lost something that day was not me. It was Sarah who lost a partner willing to show up when asked with respect, instead of demanded with ultimatums. And somewhere out there, I hope Jen finally learned to hire a real babysitter. Have you ever been in a situation where you had to choose between keeping the peace and respecting yourself? Drop a comment below and share your story. If this resonated with you, hit that like button. Subscribe if you want more real stories about life, relationships, and finding the courage to set boundaries. And share this with someone who might need to hear it. Thank you for listening to my story, and I hope it reminds you that choosing yourself is never selfish. It is survival. Take care of yourself out there, and remember, you deserve respect in every relationship you have.